Or you step away from it and you have peace of mind, but you got to give the $1 million back. So when she says Eddie is now okay with her going back to Housewives, no fucking shit. He missed the $1 million check. Sorry, Tamra. I'm just calling it like I see it. So when Teresa says that, you know, he lives off you and you're a sugar mama and you bought him a gym, he was a personal trainer, I say she's got a lot of points there. Listen, Teresa just said recently on her podcast that she's a very nice person. It came up like a reference to her high school friend. We had an appearance on the podcast by our good friend, housewife historian. And, you know, Teresa's like, yeah, I had friends at high school. And look, I never strike first. I'm a nice person. I clap back. I actually agree with this. Now all the tree huggers are going to be happy with me. We did a show last week. I talked about Jackie and Teresa. You know, I agree with this. I really don't think Teresa, yeah, she flips a table and blah, blah, blah. But I really don't think Teresa really wakes up a miserable person. I do, again, having had interactions with her and Melissa. I have not had 100% great interactions with Teresa, but I do think inside there is a warmness to her. I do feel she does not start things. And yes, she claps back. So nothing wrong with that. So I agree with Tamra. I mean, I agree with Teresa on this. You know, I keep my personal feelings out of it. I am no problem calling out Teresa when she's acting like a fool. Even though I call her the rat, I have nothing against Tamra. But this all goes to Teresa. I think it was a great clapback. And now, Teresa, just move on. Forget about Tamra. That's it. It's enough. It's enough. Don't go back. What else can we talk about here today? You know, it's really funny. This is just a really quick segue as we move into something else. These people, I've said this before, these people listen to every word. Hi, Margaret. I know you're listening. Teresa doesn't listen, but Margaret listens. Dolo listens. Miss Goldschneider listens. They all listen. They all listen. Rachel Fuda. Hi, Rachel Fuda. I know you're new to the game, but I know you're listening. That's good, girl. They all listen. So this is what my point is. And by the way, the other franchises, Miami, last season, I had Alexia on, then I had Adriana on. Oh my God, that's the whole nother story. We'll have to talk. You guys, I just have to do a whole show of what happens behind the scenes, but they all listen too, man. Again, I don't care what anyone says about me. I don't understand. Like, you look at that Dodd who gets so upset when I had Megan. Like, these people get so upset, which is, what business are you in? What a life. What a life. What a life. What a life. Certain people talk about me 24 hours a day. I don't care. I'm, you know, you have one eye open to make sure it doesn't affect the business, but you don't care. So the point, I'm actually trying to make a point here, everybody, is that Jackie Goldschneider was recently on a podcast. Speaking of Jackie Goldschneider and podcasts, let me say this, guys, hashtag stay tuned. Oh, yeah. Let's have a moment of silence. Jackie Goldschneider and podcast, hashtag stay tuned. Oh, yeah, guys. I'll pause for dramatic effect. But Jackie was on a podcast very recently, and I know for a fact that Marge, hi, Margaret. You know, I have nothing against you, Margaret. I have nothing against you. We spoke since the Hamptons run-in, but I'm doing my job here, baby. You know, we don't need to be best friends. I'm going to tell it like it is. So Jackie was on a podcast, and I know for a fact that Marge was trying to find the podcast and download it, and she couldn't find it. So she had Marge went, my point is, I don't know. If somebody that I was in a feud with was on a podcast, I wouldn't listen. I really, in my heart of hearts, wouldn't sit there and listen to what did this person say about me. I really don't listen. Again, there are people now that talk about me 24/7. I truly don't listen. So I just found it funny that Margaret is like stumbling over herself and all the finstas are falling out of her asshole. And she's like, Lexi, find that podcast that, Jackie was on. I got to listen to what she said about me. I know this for a fact. I could go into more details. Perhaps Margaret called the person whose podcast Jackie was on and said, can you send that to me? How do I listen? It shocks me. It just shocks me. It shocks me that these people care this much. It does. That shocks me. I just said I'm going to do the 5 most shocking moments in Housewives history. It shocks me that these people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, unless you're in your first year or second year you make 120. Some people get 200. Big fucking deal. But Margaret, you're here for the girl, you've been at this, you're up there, girl, 700, 800,000. Why the fuck why are you stumbling over yourself and making calls to podcast hosts to find out, to say, send me the link so I can listen to what Jackie said about me? I know this for a fact, could give a lot more info about a lot of the conversation, but I'm actually going to get in trouble for even saying this. Okay. You guys can put 2 and 2 together. Yeah, no one should tell me anything. Look, if you don't want it repeated on Patreon to my loyal listeners, then don't fucking tell it to me, because I will somehow just say it. I try to help myself and I can't, because my loyalty is to you people. I love you all. You're my children. You're my friends. I love you all. What would I do without all of you in my life? Fuck these housewives. I care about you guys. Now, let's move on to some other stuff with Jersey. I mean, here we are, and we have to get to the Beverly Hills. I'm looking down for everyone watching on YouTube because they are a client. Sorry. Let's get into everyone. I'm looking down. Because I'm going to read something that Andy Cohen has said. So let me just tell you, the next thing I want to talk about is Jennifer's behavior at BravoCon. By the way, I have no problem with Jennifer. I have no problem with anything she did. They are a client of mine. Hold on. Starbucks and Bubbly. Sorry. You get like a text and you get a... Okay. So Jennifer, I have no problem with Jennifer and what she did at BravoCon. I really don't. She says this and that. And yeah, I'm not so sure, saying the whale is waddling away. That's Jennifer. That's not. I mean, body shaming. I really don't talk about people's looks, if you think about it. I've never, yes, when we're going to analyze the reunion looks, absolutely. I'm going to say the last Atlanta reunion looks were horrible. The last New York City, I think one of the worst dress looks ever. I really hated them all, except for Erin. So I have no problem criticizing looks. But when it comes to body shaming and people's faces,